All right, this is a little bit more advanced, and it's unlikely to happen, but just in case it does, this is definition debate. And this is where you disagree on your definitions with your opponent, and it is vital to the round that you win your definitions. So, of course, you have to have a definition, and your opponent has to have a counter definitions, or vice versa. If you leave it where it is, you leave it to judge interaction and interpretation, which is not good because the judge doesn't know the ins and outs of your case like you do, and the judge doesn't know why you should win. So that's why you need to explain why you should win. So there will be different ways to evaluate definitions, which is academic qualities and for the purpose of the debate. So for academic definitions, like commonplace, everyday definitions, or coming from an academic dictionary, if you have a definition that's coming from an academic dictionary and your opponent doesn't, then you can use that to win the definition debate for that definition. It's better if it comes from in the field, so that's field context. So if it's a resolution about laws, then it should be from like a legal dictionary. Yeah, legal context law dictionary. And intent to define. So it has the purpose of telling what it means. So it's not a super obscure definition that is completely unrelated to what the resolution is all about. So that's where you can talk about the intent to define or framers. Yeah. So debate definition, so framers' intent, basically. So people who wrote the resolution's intention, so what they wanted us to learn from it. And it gets to the heart of the resolutional question. If it includes more words, you can use that for your definition debate. So more words of the resolution. For an example, I did a resolution which is adult sex work ought to be legalized in the United States. And so if the definition was sex work versus adult sex work, then adult sex work would be the better definition. And it does have to have resolutional context. Impacts education or learning, more from my definition, less from their definition. Fairness, predictability. Was it fair for me to have predicted this obscure definition? It allows for more debates to be had and cases to be written. Reasonability, at least I was still talking about the resolution with my definition. It does have to be very reasonable. And you should only start a definition debate if there is an argument that you will win with that definition, that will win you the debate. The definition is saying that you aren't even debating the resolution. So make sure to, when arguing, provide a counter definition, explain why their definition is wrong, and ignore that part, and then go on to the rest of the debate. Okay, observations, and these are entirely optional, and if it doesn't work for the resolution, it doesn't work for the resolution, but if it does, it's very useful. So these are things we observe about the resolution. These are rules that you set for the debate round. It's a way of narrowing down the debate if it's a very vague topic, and it's an instruction for the judge on how the decision for the debate should be made. So an example would be, the United States is not a democracy, so therefore any argument saying that it is should be thrown out, or states is too vague, and therefore X region should be the only ones considered. And ought requires a moral obligation, so if any arguments don't end with a call to act, it should be thrown out. But it does need a resolutional backing. So this will really help you win the debate if you can come up with one, because it can end up entirely throwing out your opponent's points entirely. Observation debate. And again, this will rarely happen because, it's rare that someone will even have an observation. So if you are the person debating, only use it if you think you can't win the case without it. So there are 3 things you have to win. You have to win the justification. So you need to write extensions, blocks, frontline, to prepare for an observation debate if you have an observation. So because of a particular word or climate or regional issue, that's why the observation applies and makes sense. So example, we should only consider countries that are active threats to the US because 1, we are citizens of the US, and 2, North Korea is constantly firing nukes to see if they can hit the US. Another thing you have to win is fairness in education, why it's fair for the other debater, and why it would be unfair for you if the judge took the opportunity away from you. It's educational. Well, you don't have to win this one, but it's another way to win. It's educationally beneficial for the opponent, for you, for the judge to learn about the topic, but honestly, to bring this up, it's kind of a whiny baby moment. Like, I don't like their definition, and it's not cool for this debate, so we should just throw it out. You should actually debunk it with evidence and logic and common sense. So how to debate observations. You can concede to their framework and try to win under it without actually conceding. So win under your framework, voice crack, win under your framework and their framework. It doesn't apply if it destroys your whole case. Identify the win condition. So this is in crossfire. If they don't agree and say they don't want to tell you how to win, you can ask what they think that we're supposed to learn from the resolution, educational value of the resolution. You can ask what they think is the moral question of the resolution, or just the question of the resolution. Sorry. A lot of this is from LD. And the voters say that you have to win X, Y, and prove X and Y to be true, or you can prove that they shouldn't be used. A nice debater will tell you that you have to do X, Y, and Z. If asked in crossfire, say what the moral truth and educational truth that they have to meet, and hopefully that they can't meet. So this is basically telling them how to win under the observation. You can say that their observation is unfair. Before you deal with anything, go to the observations first. First, take out the justification, and if there is none, then point it out. Look for any resolutional bias or basis, and try to take that out. Say that crossfire is binding. You should be held to the words that you wrote, that you said in cross. And if their observation shifts, make sure to point it out, and that should be a reason to reject it. So if it changes a little bit, then you can point that out. And you should still ask what the win conditions are, so what they have to do to win under that observation. And if your opponent won't tell you how to win, you can ask what the clear lines are, and if they still reject it, then you can say that they should throw it out because there are no clear-cut lines of fairness. And you can say that the limits are bad because this is an educational event, but again, it's kind of whiny baby. So that is pretty advanced definition debate, observations, and observation debate.